What's good, YouTube? So today's video, I'm going to react to Velma is worse than you could possibly imagine. And I'm looking at the thumbnail. I didn't realize Velma was that chocolate. Or I'm probably chirping because I didn't realize she was that dark. Um, this is interesting. Um, and I'm looking at the thumbnail. It seems like the review is bad, but hopefully I get to know why. But let's watch.
Bad rendition of the classic Scooby-Doo. Shaggy's voice is horrible. The animation cheap-looking and the self-reflexive nature with exaggerated traits and even dummied down to the characters along with the constant and lust from Velma are all tiresome and banal humor. Velma's character was completely out of character. I did not like how the creators took her classic personality and turned it into someone finding their sexuality. This is not what Scooby-Doo is about. Genuinely terrible, to the point of being offensive. It's like whoever made it hated Scooby-Doo and hasn't watched the movies pretty much ever. Velma's more annoying than usual, and they deprived Daphne of all personality. Oh wait, sorry, these are these are reviews for Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo from October of last year. Sorry, hold on. Okay, here we go. No, this is not Scooby-Doo. Fred isn't Fred. Velma isn't Velma. Daphne is not Daphne. It feel like every other cartoon, straight down to the animation that makes Hanna-Barbera look like Michelangelo. Crimes against humanity. I just have one question. Why? First of all, we have the art style and animation, which is a complete ripoff of Family Guy. And secondly, we have the characters. The characters are so annoying, especially Daphne. I mean, how could someone like this version of Daphne? She acts so childish. Velma is the worst. Mystery Inc. gave Velma a
I haven't
character development
seen this
and flaws,
series.
which are essential to every character, and made her hot. This dude's just laying out his entire Google search history right here. Velma always used to make me tingle in my jingle. Oh, sorry. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, but these are reviews for Be Cool Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I remember
2015.
Velma was
Oops,
white
my bad.
chocolate.
Okay, let's see. Velma 2023. Oh, dear. So as literally everyone in the entire world knows by now, there's a new Scooby-Doo adjacent show that came out on HBO Max called Velma, because it's about Velma. I know, shocking, right? And for some reason, the entire internet has decided that it suddenly just really gosh darn cares about the holy sanctity of Scooby-Doo. Like, did you all even know that there's a new Scooby-Doo something that comes out every year? Of course you all knew that, because apparently Scooby-Doo is just such an integral part of all of everyone's childhoods and their entire personalities, I guess. Which is why all these shows and movies have like 3 reviews. But I mean, come on, okay? We all know that caring about stuff is for losers, right? That's why I made like 30 videos about Riverdale, just to prove how much I totally don't care about it. But okay, so the internet has just completely exploded over the last week or so when the first 2 episodes of Velma dropped. Now, I was gonna make a video about Velma back then, but after seeing everyone's extreme reaction, I wanted to wait until there was a couple more episodes out, because like, can anyone really judge an entire show based on just the first 1 or 2 episodes? Like, come on, that's just ridiculous. Who would ever do such a thing? But yeah, so I wanted to just wait for a couple more episodes to come out before I pass judgment and answer the important question of, is Velma good, actually? No. Goodness, no. Wow. This show is so... It's not even just bad. It's, like, bafflingly bad. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. Well, it's 2023, brand new year, and what better time to finally start learning that thing you've always wanted to try, you know? But where do you start? What are you even supposed to do? You want to learn, like, literally any music instrument? Self-improvement techniques like journaling or how to get over a creative slump? You want to learn how to make cool stuff for weddings that your friends are definitely going to be jealous of? Well, wouldn't you know, you could learn almost anything. Deep knowledge or appreciation of Scooby-Doo lore, or like, my entire childhood was somehow intrinsically linked to this franchise of a crime-solving dog. Like, I haven't really watched much Scooby-Doo stuff since Zombie Island, which came out when I was a kid, which I liked a lot, by the way, but still, I wanted to watch this new show with a completely open mind and judge it solely on itself as a show, okay? Because, like, probably 90% of the criticisms and commentaries
Wait, is that Shaggy?
are solely from the perspective of, like, how different the characters are in this version versus how they're supposed to be based on whatever iteration of Scooby-Doo this person happens to like the most. So, as its own show, based solely on itself, as a cartoon sitcom, I guess you'd call it, like, yeah, sure, okay, it's real bad, okay? Like,
Oh, that is Shaggy.
Very little to appreciate about this show. Well, actually, okay, that's
So I guess
because
everybody
there
is dipped in
one part of it
chocolate.
that I actually think anyone could admit is pretty good, which is the animation. Like, visually, the show feels like 2 different shows, okay? Most of the time, it kind of just looks like every other adult cartoon, I guess.
Velma, snap out of it! You fed the cat Sophie's prenatal vitamins. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking
No,
about
Velma might be
Mom.
Indian.
And only Mom. She disappeared at Fred's house. Bye.
But in the first episode specifically, Velma has these like trauma-induced hallucinations whenever she tries to solve a mystery. It's kind of like a whole thing, but it has to do with like her mom disappearing, whatever. It's not important. Anyway, when these hallucination scenes kick in, like the animation team did an incredible job.
Is someone trying to solve a mystery? But it's going to be!
Like, there's this really short part right here where Velma comes up through the ectoplasm or whatever this is and grabs her phone. And, like, look at how smooth and good this looks. You know what I mean? Or the poltergeist thing, like, crawling into her skin. Like, man, I tell you, this is some clever, well-done animation right here. So many people I've seen talking about this show, even, like, the self-purported, like, animation fans, that bring up this line from the second episode.
Well,
All our classmates are idiots or sheep, so let's assume they're high.
man, if I ever even think about getting into 420 culture, or especially 420 related humor, kill me. You know what 420 is, right?
Yeah, it's code for adults who still watch cartoons.
Now, okay, I'll talk about this more later. But like everyone I've seen talking about the show, they talk about how like it's made by people who seem to hate cartoons. But very few of them are talking about how good of a job the animators did working on a show that seems to hate them, you know? Which brings me to my first point.
What does the future of strength look like?
To be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of most like American adult cartoons. Like I know there's some really good ones out there, but the ones that are the most popular and longest running tend to be like I don't know, they're just kind of like regular sitcoms that happen to be animated. I mean, like in the Western world specifically, cartoons are still by and large seen as like kid stuff, and animation is never regarded as like legit. It's always seen as like easy or disposable, even though like all animation, even bad animation, is kind of a miracle. Like it's easy to criticize animation until you do it, and then you're like, oh, this is. This takes forever. Like Chris Stuckman came out with a video recently and he was talking about something different specifically, but one thing he said that struck me was how everyone's talking about how the new Last of Us show has broken the video game adaptation curse because it's good, actually. Even though there's been quite a few really good video game adaptations before now. But the problem is, most of those are animated, which the Western cinema gatekeepers of legitimacy seem to think makes them not worth bothering with, you know? Like you have the 1996 Street Fighter anime movie, Arcane, Edge Runners, the entire Pokemon anime franchise. All of these are video game adaptations, but you know, that's different because those are cartoons. It's only legitimate if it's a gritty live action, just kidding, mostly CG, such and such. And this new Velma show just clearly is produced by these really cynical people who like don't care for animation at all. I mean, when you make a cartoon, the comedic timing and sensibilities are different from live action, okay? There's so much more you can do in that you can do literally anything. One of my favorite meta animation jokes is this scene from Gumball.
What's going on? I guess it's like what people say. Without money, you're nothing.
Yeah, literally.
What's wrong with your mouth?
I don't know. What's
Oh,
wrong
I
with
remember
his
this.
face? What are we going to do?
Let's take the bus. Rocky, we need to get to the mall so we can sell out and make a load of cash.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Or this scene from Adventure Time.
Okay, now make him look angrier.
Alright, give me a second. Man, I don't have the patience for this animation junk. Whoever does this must have no life whatsoever. Oof. Why did I do that?
Like, if you're gonna go through all the work of doing animation, and then you make a show where it's just a Big Bang Theory sitcom that relies on all the staging and comedy timing of a totally different kind of show, then, like, why even bother? So after watching the first 4 episodes, it's becoming more and more clear that Velma's character arc is her just becoming less terrible, I guess. Her whole shtick is that she's some kind of Daria ripoff, where like everyone else is so stupid and all she does is just make these really bizarre quips about everything.
Velma, that's not fair. I'm not just a waitress. I'm also
A basic bitch who doesn't even know how to use
Oh.
hashtags.
There's a rich white guy with a tiny
Oh.
tongue.
Exactly. I spit truth without a filter. Like every comedian before hashtag me too.
The show kind of feels like a Jeff Dunham sketch where, like, you know, his whole shtick is that,
I
like,
wasn't
he makes the
expecting that.
puppet say these just horrible things. And, you know, that's fine because it's a puppet saying it and totally not him, you know? So they have Velma just be the most annoying, offensive character under the guise of her purposely being unlikable. And throughout the show, I assume, given how the first 4 episodes are, she's going to become less unlikable. Dare I say, likable. And, like, obviously it's good to have character flaws and things for them to overcome or whatever, but, like, her entire character is just, she says these bizarrely random, like, not even funny things. Like, you can actually do pretty funny versions of the jokes in the show, but they don't even write them as jokes. It's just Velma being offensive and then saying everything like it's a punchline, but there's no jokes. She just says things.
And nothing but the truth?
So help me, Shonda Rhimes, I do.
And what did you think of my client?
That he was just another entitled rich guy who might kill someone because he has a tiny dong. Your dad is a high school guidance counselor, the lowest form of therapist.
And along with all this, like, the show breaks the fourth wall a lot. Like, not directly, but the characters say a lot of things that are clearly meant to be them speaking to the audience, you know? Like, usually when TV shows and movies do this, the point is that they drop character and embody the writer themselves, who is saying something as the writer of the show. And Velma, the show, does this kind of meta humor, fourth wall, whatever, like, a lot.
First rule of therapy, you are as great as you think you are.
I have to apologize. She kicked me so hard my tubes are now tied.
Yes, but you hurt her feelings, which is way worse these days.
It's in portrait mode. Oh, God. He looks like Hitler. And not just because we compare everyone to Hitler these days.
Hilarious. Like, the very first thing in the entire show is a group of girls in the school shower talking about how the first episode of every show these days has tons of nudity and things like that. Now, I'm going to show part of this scene here, but I got to zoom in real close so I can put this on YouTube, okay? So just bear with me.
Have you ever noticed how pilot episodes of TV shows always have more gratuitous sex and nudity than the rest of the series? The only hook a good show ever needs is good storytelling.
Then why was your favorite part of the Riverdale pilot when Betty and Veronica kissed? See, now if this was a show, it'd be super hot if you two kissed.
Now, this idea itself could be pretty funny as like a quick side joke or something like that. But they really hammer this into the ground real fast. Like, the scene goes on for so long and they just say the same joke 5 times. And really, this is kind of just how, like, the whole show is. So, like, the character of Velma specifically is supposed to be unlikable, but she says all the same things when she breaks the fourth wall also. So it really just seems like the writers of the show just want to say these things regardless of context or whether it's even funny. I mean, like, I think meta humor can be very funny if it's done right, but the show just solely relies on making fun of hashtags and what if the show was a different show and micro penises and just, and like, it's not even funny, they just say things. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone in the show is incredibly unlikable. Like, I mean, purposely, proactively, like the most unwatchable cast of characters. Like, Fred is just this literal man baby.
I just hope people can actually think I'm a little kid. Ah, crap, I'm all syrupy. Bathies!
Velma is everything I've described up to now. Daphne just kind of has, like, no personality going on, except she's just, like, the hot, pretty girl that Daria Dinkley over here is too good for. Now, I've seen a lot of people complain about Shaggy and how he's a beta simp, but, like, I gotta say, at least for me, I found Shaggy to be the least obnoxious character. Like, everyone seems to think that Shaggy used to be some kind of Giga Chad. But, like, all he ever did was eat food, and then girls would just throw themselves at him for no reason.
Hi, Shaggy.
Like, if I didn't know better, I'd swear that somebody's right behind me.
Look, he's the Bulbasaur.
I don't care. I think he's just darling.
I mean, every movie was like, hey, check out my cool Adams apple. Well, shoot, just what I've been looking for. Now, you can have very flawed characters still be fun to watch. Like, I think South Park is a good example of this. But the show really doesn't want you to like anyone in it.
Thank God you're here. Brenda's.
And to me. Nah, I know. I'm caliente, as this one's people would say.
Thank you for helping me find who threw that geode, and for explaining geodes in terms I can understand. The hot girls of rocks.
Great. Now even just being myself won't work. Rom-coms can kiss my ass.
So as part of its meta humor extravaganza, in the first episode, Velma makes a semi-fourth wall breaking quip about the changing of the characters' ethnicities.
And how do you feel about race-blind casting, Daphne?
Well, as an Asian woman, I think it's cool.
In that now Velma is Indian, Shaggy is black, Daphne is Asian, and Fred is Fred. Now, I don't think this at its core is a bad choice or whatever, because the ethnicities of the characters has never really had much to do with anything of the show.
Oh, and just to FYI, I don't have a problem of them changing the race, but this one right here is just like interesting.
Itself, you know what I mean? It was more just a product of the fact that it was made in the 60s. So the colorblind casting of the show itself is fine, except that it's not colorblind at all, because like every other joke in the show is about someone's ethnicity.
I'm caliente, as this one's people would say.
Fred's a rich white guy with a tiny dong. Why frame me?
Yeah, exactly. Why would I do that? Before you just started talking, I thought you were our housekeeper.
It's like you can't go and say your show was colorblind and then mention everyone's colors like every 4 seconds. You know, also these aren't even jokes, okay? Velma's just saying rude things. Okay, like real talk, like I'm not some highbrow, sophisticated savant of comedy, okay? You know, I like a good fart joke like everybody else. But this show is just on par with like late season Family Guy.
We have found a pattern. Each of the victims is hot.
Are you telling us life is now even harder for beautiful girls? Gigi and her friends already spend half their days responding to compliments.
Thank you, Dad. That's so nice.
Okay, this show is an adult cartoon. We've seen a lot of those recently. I think it maybe started back with like early Adult Swim, where you had shows like Home Movies, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, even South Park a bit before that. And now, of course, we have Big Mouth, aka the only Netflix cartoon left apparently, because plot twist, Nick Kroll's family are billionaires. So yeah, this show ain't going nowhere. So Velma is an adult cartoon, TM, because it has a certain art style and the characters say all kinds of hilariously edgy things.
But I'd actually rather talk about moms.
I do miss my mom. Prison is cool, but nobody watches me pee quite like Mother.
But then at the same time, the show's humor level is like middle school, and the characters themselves are supposed to be like 15 or whatever.
But the thing is, we kind of rely on Daphne to tell us what to do. She's like our queen bee, and you're like a King Kong.
Well,
so like, is this for teenagers? Because in episode 4, for example, the whole thing is about how Velma learns that it's okay for girls to be frumpy-dumpy, nerdy whatevers, but also okay for them to be hot.
Where's the hair I wove onto your arms?
It's gone, Velma. This wasn't an exercise in deprogramming. It's an exercise in slut-shaming.
But you're more than your looks, Olive.
You think every girl deep down is like you, but you're wrong. Your definition of womanhood is even more restrictive than ours.
Is it for adults? But you just said that adults who watch cartoons are losers, and also you totally changed all the Scooby-Doo characters from who they normally are, so it's not for Scooby-Doo fans, so who do you think is gonna watch this show? The show really just kind of feels like a straw man show that someone would make up when they complain about modern adult cartoons, except they just like checked every box and actually made it a show. Like, it doesn't even seem like a real show that would exist. It's more like a fake show that would be in like a Family Guy cutaway gag. Like something would happen and Peter would be like, all right, geez, Lois, this is my Peter Griffin impression, by the way. All right, geez, Lois, it's almost as bad as that time they remade Scooby-Doo without Scooby-Doo in it. And then it would cut to like this exact show. HBO Max canceled every cartoon they were working on for this. Okay, and like I said throughout the video, I do think on paper, the show could have been pretty funny, but the execution is just, I mean, woof.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I don't know what route they going, like they looking for this show, but it's a bit interesting. And again, as I said earlier, it doesn't have anything to do with them like changing the race or that. I was just a bit surprised, especially with Velma, and then making her own series. It's a bit interesting, and then seeing all the characters looking different. It's interesting. I must be late because I did not hear about this. I literally did not hear about this until now. So this is very interesting and new to me. But I mean, they made the series, so I guess they going to that route. And then good luck to the people that's watching it. So if you have any videos you would like me to see, just comment below and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.